Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the program. This is your authoritative election-related political program where we bring you all the activities happening on and off the campaign trail. I'm Araba Kumsin. Coming up in this edition, Electoral Commission confirms the New Patriotic Party's running mate was verified outside an exhibition center. We'll speak to the EC and hear from the police as they investigate the matter. Also, 70% of Ghanaians believe the country is heading in the wrong direction. That's according to the latest survey by governance think tank CDD Ghana. We'll get the details. CPP flag bearer Ivor Greenstreet is on the campaign trail, but is his message drowned out by the noise of internal party wranglings? And could the NDC's much-anticipated campaign launch be thwarted? The PPP is accusing the Ogua Traditional Council to explain why it is allowing the NDC to launch its campaign in Cape Coast when there is a ban on noise-making. All this coming up in the next 30 minutes. Stay with us. Once again, welcome. The Electoral Commission has confirmed the running mate of the New Patriotic Party, flag bearer Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, was verified outside an exhibition center. In a statement released earlier Tuesday, the electoral management body said a 3-member committee constituted to investigate the matter arrived at that conclusion. You would recall last month, the EC dismissed 2 of its polling station agents in Walewale in the northern region for verifying Dr. Bawumia at his Walewale residence during the just-ended verification exercise. Ambrose Yobe, an exhibition officer, and Mumuni Latifa, verification officer, were sacked after they were found to have breached the electoral rules. Let's get some more details on this. We're joined on the line by the Deputy Head of Communications at the EC, Yusuf Ayuba. Many thanks for your time.
Good afternoon.
I have to say, there was some ambiguity about where precisely Dr. Bawumia was verified. The NDC claimed it was inside his residence. The MPP denied that. Your statement puts it in perspective. Tell us, how were you able to verify that the incident did not take place at his home?
Thank you very much. Like you rightly said, we set a 3-member investigative body from the Northern Regional Office of the Electoral Commission. They went to Walewale to have a first-hand information on exactly what happened. They were taken to the exact location that the incident happened, and it was outside the exhibition center, but it was not in Dr. Smith's house.
All right. Now, clearly, the 2 officers were dismissed because, as you say, their conduct breached the electoral rules. From your investigations, were they aware that they were breaching the law?
They were very aware because at training, we had told them exactly what the position of the law was. We had told them they were supposed to operate exactly at the exhibition center that they had been assigned, and therefore they went outside the rules that governed the exercise. If you could recall, they had even left the center just around 5:30 before it was time for them to close. Based on that only, we could have also dismissed them, and they went further to go outside the authorized place to go and do the verification and also check Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's details in the register. So based on that, we dismissed them.
Okay, but if you say that they breached the electoral laws, it means that they have committed a crime. Beyond dismissing them, are you expecting the police to prosecute them?
It is an irregularity, and so the rest is left with the police to investigate whether they committed acts an additional crime that our investigation did not reveal. But for the Electoral Commission, it was an irregularity that they committed. So based on that, we think that even sacking them and not paying them for the work that they did is enough a punitive measure.
Now, we understand that the police is investigating this matter. In fact, we hear that the police CID has waded into the matter. It's taken over the investigations. Can you confirm this?
I'm hearing it from you. We had instituted an investigation as to how these things happen. You know, the media has speculated that there were other considerations. That is why the two officials went outside the exhibition center to verify. So it will be appropriate for the police to take it up and investigate and see whether, apart from the having to commit this irregularity, there were other offenses that they committed.
Did the EC, just clarify this for me, did the EC officially complain to the police about this incident?
I'm not very sure. I need to find out whether an official complaint has been made to the police. But as I speak to you right now, I cannot confirm or deny whether the Electoral Commission has formally complained to the police.
Okay, let's talk about the electoral laws and the training you give to these electoral officers. You say that they were trained on the electoral laws, but clearly we see some have breached those electoral laws. What is the EC doing to ensure that we see a few of these incidences going into the elections?
Subsequently, we are going to take our training procedure very seriously. If you've observed our training, we've increased the number of days we do our training. We've made it even better, hands-on approach in training, demonstrating and exactly having, using simulation exercises to demonstrate how some of these exercises have to be done. So going forward, we would want to, review some of these training and make sure that all officials that we recruit adhere strictly to our procedure so that it will forestall some of these incidents. In addition to this, we also give the officials manuals that guide them on the operations of the activities that they engage in. So we were very surprised that even though they had a manual which strictly showed them exactly what they were supposed to do, they went outside the exhibition center to do it.
All right, thank you very much. That's Deputy Head of Communications at the Electoral Commission, Yusuf Ayuba, speaking to us there. Well, the NPP says it is vindicated by the conclusions reached by the Commission's three-member committee. A while ago, its Wale Wale constituency chairman, Simon Ali, issued a statement to that effect. I have a copy here, and it reads, the Wale Wale constituency NPP feels vindicated by the conclusions of a three-member committee as contained in a statement issued by the Deputy Chair of the EC, Amadi Sule, which was set up by the Northern Regional Directorate of the Commission to investigate allegations put out by the NDC. The key false accusations put out by the NDC included that Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia was verified at his residence and that he also gave two EC officers a sum of 10,000 Ghana cedis. Our vindication in this case stems from the fact that the truth contained in our initial response to the spurious allegations put out by the NDC on the 30th of July have been endorsed by the EC's three-member committee. The facts are stated in our response, and the only truths in the matter remain that 1. Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia was never verified in his home or family residence, as was put out falsely by the NDC. 2. Dr. Bawumia never gave any official of the EC any amount for whatever purpose, and that the NDC put out that allegation, like all others, purely to tarnish the image of Dr. Bawumia, who has become a nightmare for the NDC and who they continue to plot against to seek to destroy. 3. Dr. Bawumia never invited an EC officer to verify him at his residence. And 4. That Dr. Bawumia was verified at a spot adjacent to the verification center because the officers on the day were in the process of moving their equipment and documents in an attempt to seek shelter due to the prevailing weather situation at the time. We are confident that the conclusions and recommendations of the three-member EC panel will bring finality to this matter and call on the NDC, especially their officers who schemed and spewed these lies against Dr. Bawumia, to do the honorable thing and bow their heads in shame. And so that is signed by the Wale Wale Constituency Secretary of the NPP, Simon Ali. Now, the Ghana Center for Democratic Development has, in its latest pre-election survey, stated that 70% of Ghanaians, representing a majority of the populace, are of the view that Ghana is heading in the wrong direction. The survey also says majority believe government has managed the economy poorly. The report also posits a split view about the cause of this poor management. Half believe government is to blame, while the other half disagree. Addressing a news conference in Accra today, Senior Research Officer at CDD Ghana, Daniel Ama-Ato, said 6 in 10 Ghanaians graded government poorly in providing reliable electricity, combating corruption, and ensuring that adequate food is available for all.
As to whether the government has been doing well or badly in handling their first policy priorities, so what we do is, the follow-up question is, given your first most important problem that you want the campaign to address, do you think the government has been doing well or badly handling that problem, addressing that problem? And what we found was that 64% believe the government is performing very or fairly badly in managing or addressing their first most important policy priority. And about a third, however, rated government's performance as very or fairly well. Once again, we look at the trend. Those who believe the government is managing their first policy priority very or fairly badly dropped from 66 to 64, so just some negligible reduction. And those who believe they are doing fairly or very well moved from 28 to 32 or so, and then those who don't know, 4% to 3%, virtually the same. A narrow majority also believe that another political party can do a better job of addressing their first most important priority.
Well, the survey, which sampled the views of 2,400 Ghanaians across the country, ranked unemployment as the main issue that they expect the campaign messages of political parties to address in the run-up to this year's election.
So now we move into factors that are likely to influence voter preferences. And as Prof said will actually influence their choices at the forthcoming polls. Solid majorities of Ghanaians claim their vote choices in the 2016 polls will be influenced a great deal or somewhat by a variety of policy and campaign issues ranging from bad roads, 76%, all the way to national embarrassments such as the World Cup scandal in the half, a little over half, compared to the others is on the lower side. But the key ones are the bad roads, government corruption, power outages, high prices of foodstuffs, ability to get medical care, use of abusive language, arrogance and disrespectful nature of politicians. So we can clearly see these are issues that they claim will have strong influence on the decisions they will make at the 2016 elections. A majority of Ghanaians, that is 57%, endorse voting for the parliamentary candidate who will make policies that benefit everyone in the country. But we also found that 4 in every 10 Ghanaians say they will vote for candidates who can deliver goods and services to people in their community. So virtually what this slide is telling us is that, once again, people are going to vote on the basis that the one I'm going to vote for is able
So let's go over to the phone lines now. We're joined on the line by Daniel Ama Ato, a senior research fellow with the CDD. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Arwa.
Okay, those are really interesting revelations there. But first tell us, what is this survey intended to achieve?
Well, let me say good afternoon to your listeners. As we said during the presentation, from our 2014 Afrobarometer survey, analysis of our findings shows that there were some challenges within our democratic space, and we also saw that there were some kind of risks that are coming up. And apart from that, looking at the political environment towards the 2016 election, we see some of these challenges also coming up. So if you have a report, a copy of the report, you will see that before we even started the presentation, we were making references to the context within which the data was collected, where we were looking at some of the critical issues that were being discussed on media programs and the rest.
Yeah.
So we look at these things and we believe it will be necessary for us to go into this kind of pre-election service so that at least it can inform other stakeholders, election projects and activities that they will be undertaking. Let me state that the questionnaire that we use for this survey is quite bulky. This is just an aspect of it. There are other questions that are talking about so many issues like civic education issues, things concerning peace and security, violence, and all those things. And we expect that when these findings are coming up, then responsible organizations and agents that are involved in election activities will look at the findings and see how best they can use them to undertake intervention activities that will help more or less forestall some of the challenges that may come up during the 2016 election. So basically, this is one reason that prompted us into undertaking this election survey.
Okay. Now, we understand that the survey took place between June and July last month, the last 2 months. But tell us, what research methodology did you employ for this particular study?
Well, the data collection took place from 2nd to 18th of July. 2nd to 18th of July. And we used random sampling methodology, so at least the sample was randomized at various stages. And normally, I don't want to go into these technicalities, what people will refer to as multi-stage random sampling technique. That is what we use in selecting our sample. So, but the data, as you see it, the findings that we are putting out today and maybe subsequently will have a margin of error of 2 plus 2 minus 2 percentage points at a 95% confidence level.
All right, I'm sure that in subsequent bulletins, we'll be asking you more questions about this because a lot of reactions are going to be coming up following the revelations in your study or survey. Thank you very much. That's Daniel Ato, Daniel Ama Ato. He's a senior research fellow with CDD Ghana, which came out with that survey. Now, the Convention People's Party has been in the news lately, but not for the right reasons. The party's internal wranglings following the interdiction of its General Secretary, Ni Ama Konfra, and youth organizer, Ernesto Yeboah, has deepened the cracks the leadership is trying to mend following the Congress at which flag bearer Ivor Greenstreet was elected. The CPP flag bearer has, in the last few weeks, been on the campaign trail, visiting the northern, western, and most recently, the central region. He's been trying to win the hearts and minds of the electorate, but is his message being drowned out by the noise of internal party wranglings? I spoke to him a while ago.
I think it's unfair to say that they were suspended. You know, they were not suspended. They were interdicted, should I say, or asked or set aside pending a disciplinary inquiry. Because in the party's constitution, if an individual is being referred to the disciplinary committee, they ask that person to step aside pending the matter being looked into. So number one, first point is that they were not suspended. Second point is that even I, as a general secretary, was suspended for 1 year as a sitting general secretary at a point in time. My good brother, the national organizer of NDC, Kofi Adams, was suspended for quite a lengthy period of time. And my own father, Nana Akufo-Addo, Adodankwa Akufo-Addo, has ensured the suspension of his whole chairman and general secretary. And for suspensions and disciplinary issues in political parties, every day it occurs. And certainly I won't be distracted by it. And I know it will be resolved in an amicable way, and we all mean well to try and ensure that there's unity and progress within the party. After all, I mean, Araba, when is the last time you went to watch a soccer match? When you go watch a soccer match, the most interesting games, at a point in time, definitely you will see the referee hold a yellow card or even a red card at a point in time. Well, it's normal in politics. I don't think it is.
It's normal. But some members of your party are saying you and the national chairman are behind
No.
the internal wranglings.
No, it's not the case. No, it's not the case. No.
That's not the case.
No. We wish everybody well. We wish the party well. We want a unified force going forward.
Speaking of unity,
we have to be on the same. We have to all be on the same track.
Speaking of unity, you at a debate organized by your party before the party's congress, which saw you elected as flag bearer, you said, and I quote, "I'm the best person to unite the party ahead of the polls for Ghana's founding party to usurp the dominance of the NPP and the NDC." Yes. What have you done to unite the party?
The party is united. Total rank and file. Unity doesn't represent one or two individuals at the national level. It is about the entirety of the rank and file. And that is why they gave me a resounding endorsement at that Congress. 64%. Unheard of in the entirety of the history of the Convention People's Party for any flag bearer to win with that resounding victory. And I can tell you, region to region, constituency to constituency, they are united behind the presidential candidate because not they just love Ivor Kobina Greenstreet, but they understand that this is an election year.
And that's CPP flag bearer Ivor Greenstreet. There's more on the polls and in our subsequent bulletins, so you can watch out for that. Now, the Progressive People's Party is asking the Ogua Traditional Council to come clean on why the Traditional Council is allowing the National Democratic Congress to launch its campaign in Cape Coast when there's a ban on noise-making in the area. The Cape Coast North parliamentary candidate of the PPP wants to know whether some parties are more important than others. She demanded an explanation at a news conference in Cape Coast a short while ago, and we are joined on the line by our correspondent, Kojo Nyako. He joins us on the line now. Kojo, good afternoon to you. Unfortunately, we don't have Kojo Nyako on the line, so we can listen to the parliamentary candidate.
It's rather unfortunate because every nation, however small it is, has its culture and tradition. And we know that Cape Coast, we have our culture, we have our tradition. And we know that a month to our great festival, which is Fetu Afeshe, it is the right of the elders of the nation to put a ban on noise making. In fact, even churches have responded positively to this. Last Sunday I went to church and I realized that there was, they didn't even bring the drums, because Catholic Church, we pay particular attention to the tradition and culture of the nation that we live in. So I don't understand why that a particular political party should come at a point where there is a ban on our noise making to come and make so much noise because they are coming to launch their campaign.
Will it come to you as a surprise if it comes out that they sought permission from the traditional authority? Yes,
but I will say that the traditional authority then would have been, it would have been some kind of bias. Because if another political party wants to do that, they will refuse that particular political party. So why is it that NDC has the right to come and launch their campaign on our soil on the 14th. Why? Meanwhile, the gods of the Cape Coast traditional area are maybe also taking their rest. So why are they coming to disturb it? I mean, disturb them. Even churches respect this traditional norm. And if churches...
So that's the Progressive People's Party's parliamentary candidate for the Cape Coast North constituency, raising some issues there. We wrap up now, and be sure to stay tuned. Same time tomorrow. I'm Arma Kunson. Good afternoon.